So what I wanted to talk about was rewriting the story. And if that's useful, I've been trying to, we in our lives, we have these thousands of hours of footage that we can edit into any movie that we want to as we're defining our story of ourselves. And the ones that I think that I had picked out in the past might have been a little more negative than I wanted to, and it could have been written a lot differently. And I remember when I was a teen that my issue with my father was that here I was thinking I was such an amazing young guy, and he was thinking, this guy's, he needs a little help, he's in a little trouble. And that's the thing I was so mad at him about, can't you see how great I am? And in some respects I've gone beyond that. And I'm willing to put that away because it's kind of boring, And then I felt the need to kind of come up with, okay, now here's my racket, here's my story that I tell now. But as I asked you originally, do you remember talking in the Boulderado 10 years ago, and is it essential for me to understand every word? You kind of said no. It's really more about now. So
well, even more. There are a few things that we want to say in response to what you just said that will really help you. Most important, you are writing your story all day, every day, and have been, and it is culminated over here in this vortex. In other words, it's interesting as we watch people decide that they're going to become more deliberate. Often they go through a sort of cycle of wanting to set goals and wanting to write scripts and wanting to express to the universe who they really are and what they want. And they seem to think that the deliberate creating part is standing in the now and making the statement of desire. And we have been explaining to you for a while that the creation process is 3 steps, and that you wrote the story in the step 1 phase over a long period of time, and that who you have become, who may not yet have manifested, but it certainly is the vibrational evolution of that which is you, has already been written. The story has already been written. And now every effort that you offer is about not holding yourself apart from the story that's already been written. In other words, all those days with your father when he maybe couldn't see you as you thought yourself to be or as you wanted to be, you were writing your story then, and you continue to do it, but it's culminated into this really wonderful scenario that you can claim ownership of at any time. So when we speak to you about affirmations or about talking about what you want and why you want it, or when we offer any of the dozens of processes that we've offered to you, in every single case, the work that we're asking you to do right now is about diffusing resistance that is keeping you from the story that has already been told. And when we said to you earlier today that this vibrational reality is present tense, it's present tense, and that's what you want to become real-time, a real-time active part of. It's because vibrationally speaking, it has already happened, and we want you to feel the conclusive experience of being a vibrational match to all that you have become. When you were mad at your father because he didn't see you for that which you knew yourself to be, it's not because your negative emotion wasn't because you were mad at your father. You were not letting yourself be who you really were. You were claiming it with your words, but not with your vibration.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, too.
So the writing of the story, if we were to encourage you, and sometimes we do, to tell a different story. The reason that we want you to tell the story, and this is essential to your understanding of creation, the reason that we want you to tell the story is not because the story needs to be told in order to create. You already told that story and you already created. The reason we want you to tell a different story now is because as you tell the story now, you practice the vibration of what has already been created vibrationally. In other words, the story you tell is about you getting up to speed with the story you've already created. Does that make sense to you? If we could convince you that it's already done, it's already done, it's already done, and everything that you now do is about coming into alignment with what's done, then you can be real time who you are. As Esther is getting ready to allow us in, she stands behind the podium and sort of hangs on for dear life, as she did in the beginning, getting ready for the mixture of the energy that is Esther and the energy that is Abraham, knowing that her vibration must raise to the level of our vibration, or she can't know what we know. She can't speak for us until she is vibrationally attuned to us. So these days, the mental picture that she holds and even the words that she softly expresses are, Abraham, I'm coming into the vortex where you are, so that I can represent that which you know clearly. And we would like to say to you that that's what all deliberate creation is. It's about tuning yourself to the frequency of who you really are. That's why you want to tell the story as it really is. So the story is, I'm a lover, not I'm in a lawsuit. The story is, I love life, not I'm concerned about what's going on ecologically with the planet. The story is, well-being is the order of business going on around here, not I'm worried about the politics of my day.
And are there parts of it that are more important than others? Because the whole story contains all of those. It contains some pretty good crashes and some pretty good victories, and can you choose to see some and not other, or is it all remain? But the thing that we
want you to hear, that the approach that you're taking, in other words, you're talking about having lived through some stuff that was good and some stuff that was bad, and we want to point you to the becoming that resulted as of all of that. In other words, 10 years ago, you were living things that put things into your vortex, and yesterday you were living things that put things into your vortex. So there is this continuing amended version of you, the creator, of you, the creation, that's happening in this vortex. It's constantly evolving and expanding, and we think that you're going about it the hard way by trying to figure out what parts any of those things played, when the bottom line is all of the parts you played and all of the relationships you had and all of the issues that you explored have all resulted in a state of vibrational beingness that equals you, that knows who you really are, who is calling you emphatically toward who you are, and that's the only story worth contemplating. The story of who I really am in relationship to who I'm letting myself be right now is the story. So the story is about my mood. I'm ornery. That's the story. Well, that's a big story. I'm ornery. That's my story. Well, you want to break that story down for me a little bit? Well, the I'm ornery story goes like this. My life has caused me to expand into emphatic and dramatic new places, but I'm choosing to focus upon things apart from that, and as a result I feel ornery. I'm not letting myself be who I have become. We're not just talking about masters of disciplines or creators of empires or orchestrators of movements, although all of that is a really fun part of life. We're talking about ownership of the energy that creates worlds. We're talking about bringing your intention that you held before you came and exploring the variety and adoring the diversity and accepting the expansion that must be born from it, and therefore the important part that each part of diversity plays. In other words, you're approaching this place, you are approaching this place of understanding that the creative life isn't about standing in your neighborhood comparing what you've gathered to the others around you who have gathered and are comparing what they've gathered to the others around them. That what life has been always was about the expansion of you, the expansion of your intelligence, the expansion of your capacity to love, the expansion of your capacity to understand, the expansion of your very beingness, and now you're allowing of that expansion here and now, so that you can have a conversation that is satisfying and meaningful, not because the world needs to be saved and not because there's something broken that needs to be fixed, but for the sheer glee and glorious experience of taking that kind of energy and moving it into a new place.
And we can do that better here.
Here in a room like this?
Here in physical focus. I mean, is that the goal at all levels of existence? You know, is my greater being doing that?
Yes.
And then in coming here, is it a particularly powerful place to do it? Or?
Yes, because it's out here on the leading edge where the diversity is more diverse, where the details are more vivid, where the new is extracted from you, where you cannot cease perceiving what would be a new improvement, and the reason that it's here is because this is the leading edge of expansion. That's the thing that most humans don't get at all about this physical experience. They think that where it's at is source before they were here, and that they're trying to prove themselves worthy to come back to that. And it is some version of that, but it's different. In other words, you have come forth to cause the expansion to which you are then wanting to catch up. But non-physical has not figured it out ahead of you, waiting for you to catch up with it. You are carving it out for non-physical through your exposure to the new details of the new life. There are new insights that are happening. Do you know there have been maybe 20, not far from that, new insights that have taken place in this gathering, where together we've gone to a place that we have not been before, where you have not been before. In other words, that's the exhilaration of all of it for us. And that's why the tone of this gathering has been a little different maybe than what some of you were initially reaching for, in that when you come wanting to carve out more material things for yourself, which is all wonderful and we want every one of those, we just want to tell you that's not the event you came to live. It's part of the picture, but the event that you came to live is understanding your invincibility and understanding the bigness of who you are. We want you to reclaim your perspective of source as you are focused and deciding what would improve. In other words, when our friend was talking about politics and talking about the healthcare system, we want to say to all of you who are focused in anything like that, you have come to explore and to come to your conclusions about what would be better, and then to hold yourself unequivocally to the new conclusions. And when you do, you will feel the expansion in yourself take hold, and then you will exude a vibration that will cause it to happen around you. You see, you didn't come to take broken pieces and fix them. You came to take the details of that and carve out of it something that's a paradigm shift more, and then to show yourself by virtue of your ability to feel your vibrational relationship to them come into alignment with the bigger picture. You see, you are creators of worlds. You didn't come to create trucks and stuff. You are creators of worlds. You are creators of concepts. You are creators of people living together in joyous harmony. You are creators of people living on the planet in their joyful rightfulness. You are creators of children waking up and feeling secure in their lives. You are creators of worlds of joy and lives of expansion. You didn't come here just to take care of the details of day-to-day living. Your quest and intention was so much bigger than that, you see. But you can't even begin to taste that until you step into the vortex. And so as a mass consciousness, you look at some people and you revere that one as a master of this and that one of a master of that. But the majority of people hold themselves far from the mastery that they've come to live, as they sort of quibble and squabble outside the vortex over resources and about how much I'm getting and how much I should be getting that I'm not getting, bringing themselves to places of inferiority and into places experiences of feeling lack, when who you really are, and by who you really are we mean who this life and this struggle and this diversity and this contrast has caused you to become, and who now you are real time, is over here expressing and radiating to you if you could just hear. And so everything that we do is about getting you closer to the vortex, where maybe it'll take you in for a moment, and maybe you'll feel that power in your being. Maybe you'll know for a moment the clarity of who you are. Maybe you'll feel the bigness of your charge in being here. Maybe you'll understand that you are a master here to masterfully create the creation that is you in your life experience. You see, you don't begin to fulfill your reason for being until you have control of your emotions and control of your vibration, and you're operating real time, where questions and answers and problems and solutions are all this magical dance that you do. You see, when you look at really busy people and people who are really in the creative mode, you never see them say, I think I'll retire, or I want to slow down, or I don't want to do this anymore, because their quest gives them life, you see. And that's what we wish for all of you. We want you to tap into this vortex that is you, and let it breathe the love of life back into you, so that in any moment you can stand in the wholeness of who you are, adoring whatever it is your object of attention, because it's all adding to the whole in its unique and important specific way.